Hello and welcome back to the Talk Healing to Me podcast. I'm your host, Karen Dwyer, and today's guest is someone who has quietly and courageously transformed her life from the inside out. Claudine Heritier, I hope I pronounced that right, is one of our brilliant MS to Success clients, and she's living between London and Switzerland with French-German roots, a sharp mind and a wicked sense of humour and a fierce heart. When Claudine joined the programme, she was overwhelmed, I would even say a little bit sceptical perhaps, and searching for a way forward. And what's unfolded since is a story of structure, strength and self-trust. In today's conversation, we're diving into what helped her shift from fear to freedom, how she rebuilt her physical and emotional resilience, and the small daily choices that added up to huge wins. And this is one of the episodes that reminds us healing doesn't come from doing more. It comes from choosing better. So get cozy, take a breath, and let's dive in. Claudine, you're so welcome.
Thank you.
I hope I didn't mispronounce your name.
No, it's fine. It's all
I
good.
mean, I always wanted to be a French teacher, and anytime I'd practice that accent, I would think I was so fancy. But I'm sure if any, like yourself or anybody that speaks French, they'd
Mm.
have a good giggle at my expense.
No, it's fine. It's okay. I recognize myself, so it's okay.
Well, look, you're so welcome. Here's what I'd love to start with. Can you take us back to before you joined the program? What was life like? How are you feeling physically, emotionally? Give us a sense of it.
This podcast is for educational purposes only and is not medical advice. Always consult your doctor. Views shared are personal and not a substitute for professional guidance.
So I had MS for a few years. I think it was about 14 years, yeah, when I joined. It was up and down. It was very strong meds in the beginning. Then we found out the meds weren't working anymore, so I had to change. I was all over the place. I was looking for structure because I knew that if there wasn't going to be a time where I would understand what's actually happening to me, I was going to go into a downward spiral. It was just not, yeah. I needed structure. I needed understanding. I needed people around me as well who would listen and show understanding. Yeah, and then you came into my life.
Oh, and
And
well, you came into ours, Claudine. Tell me, in terms of like work and what life was like take us back to, a younger version of Claudine. What was life like for you, 20 years ago or so? Like, were you working? Talk to
it
us
was,
about that.
it was crazy. So I was an expat's wife, classic, a really hardworking husband in his career, supporting him internationally. Living between Switzerland and Poland and the United States and London. And 4 children, all in schools, moving around, moving everyone all the time. And then I also had a business. I did fashion. I had a fashion business, which was great. And my hobby or my passion was also to make up houses and build and rebuild stuff. So I don't know how much I packed into a day, but sometimes I sit there and thinking, how did I do this? A friend of mine said to me, you looked permanently stunned
Oh,
all the
wow.
time, an animal caught in headlights because I was constantly afraid I was forgetting something. With 4 children, they have a busy social life as well. And I followed. I just did. I didn't question it. I never stopped
Mhm.
until my body said no, and it stopped me. And then you're at this crossroads, and everything becomes clear, or it crystallizes, and you realize what you're really, about, what your life is really like. You have
Yeah.
to make changes.
What would you say to that young? Because like I think we can all look back. And interestingly, I was in my local village earlier on. There's a girl that I knew when I was younger, and she has this really fancy clothes shop. And I went in there. There's another girl from school that works there as well, and we were just catching up a little bit. And there was a little part of me that kind of took me all the way back to my younger years, and I felt this kind of like anxiety when I thought back to it because my life was kind of a bit all over the place back then. And I'll be really honest, there was a little part of me that felt a bit embarrassed. I was like, "Oh, that younger version of myself, like, God, I was all over the place," you know? And I think back and I feel really sorry for that younger version of myself. And actually this person said, "Oh, are you settled now?" And in my head, I was like, "Fuck you," you know?
Mm. Yeah.
But then I look back and I feel
Mm.
a bit of sadness for the younger version of myself. And I when you're talking about your friend and saying to you, you look permanently stunned. When you think back to that younger version of yourself, how do you feel about her, or what would you say to her?
Well, what I'd say to her is slow down. Nobody's going to do this. There's only one of you. Nobody's going to do this for you. And you'll get there anyways. Whatever it is you're doing, you don't have to prove anything. I think all the things I did come from a very old idea of, being the good girl, doing right by everyone, the way we were raised. And you can't get it right all the time, and you can't do everything for everybody else. And then you come, in the end and try to save the day. So no, it's just it's not possible. I definitely tell myself, slow down. It'll be okay if you, don't do everything, and be good to yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's incredible though how that automatic response just kicks in when you see that someone needs something. And of course, like with your kids and having 4 kids, Claudine, I mean,
Yeah.
that's a lot. That's a lot of kids. And then to be traveling internationally and then picking up and starting, over again in a new place. And I'm sure you were holding everything together at the same time. And then, having yourself looked after too. Tell me, what was it that had you stop? Because obviously your life has gone the way it's gone. What made you say yes to joining MS to Success? And it could have been us or it could have been anybody else for that matter. But what had you say, you know what, right, enough is enough. I've got to do something different.
Because I was all over the place with my health. It wasn't structured. I was did a little bit of this, did a little bit of that, because I have the luxury not to have to get up in the morning if I don't want to,
Hmm.
which is this is the positive now of all these years of running around. But it's not necessarily a positive, because you do need structure, and you do need to know where the day is going. Well, a little bit, at least, yeah, the schedules, or the structure in general. It's like my thoughts were all over the place. I was confused with the pathology. You tried something and you thought, "Ooh, I found out the perfect diet." And then you find out, no, it's actually not working. It's not. And every time you go one step ahead and come 2 steps backwards, because, yeah, if something happens, fatigue kicks in. I was just looking for structure, and I couldn't build it up myself because I felt that I couldn't do everything. I couldn't, and I didn't have the support. Yeah, it was difficult. So
Mm.
you know that support, and this whole structure is fantastic. It's given me a backbone. It's given me a reason to get up in the morning and have a nice day. And I'm looking forward to it. And I'm looking forward to cooking stuff for myself, and just enjoy, and a positive mindset as well. I was not in a good place. I was
Yeah.
so negative about everything, and almost getting bitter, you know. So yeah.
Yeah. Talk to us a little bit about that because I think it's something that isn't spoken about enough, and I certainly experienced it, when I really wasn't feeling well. And let's say other people, going out or going on holidays or, whatever it might be. And not that I wanted to feel like that, but I definitely felt jealousy. And I didn't know that I couldn't name it at the time because it was just my life. But I probably was quite bitter. And that would come out in other ways, Talk to me, how did that show up in your life and did it feel like that for long?
I would say it showed up every time there was an event or something that as life goes on, your kids get married, or they come home with boyfriends, girlfriends, and you had imagined this nice family life for everybody around the table, and I would have enough energy to host everyone, and great Christmases. I still do great Christmases, but I have help. Um, but and then every time you go, why, why me? Why does this happen? Why can't I, And that frustration drags you down, and it sort of takes the pleasure and the joy of out of loads of events and things.
Yeah.
So you have to dig deep, and find the energy and the resources in within yourself to go, no, no, that's fine. It's just different.
Mhm.
And I'm there now a lot more thanks to the mindfulness and all the talks we have, that I feel also I can express myself and I'm understood. Because it's a frustration to try to talk about it with someone. You go like, "Oh, you're fine, but you're still fine. Oh, I hated that. I used to hate that." It's like, well, I can't see anything. For a long time, you couldn't see that my legs were functioning properly. I was doing everything I could, but I was so tired, permanently tired, always exhausted. But they would go, "But you're fine. It's okay. You're fine. But you look good." Oh, I could have. Oh, really? You want to really know what I look like in the morning when I get up and you go like, "Ugh." Yeah, in front of the mirror. Yeah, it's been a long journey, but I knew that I needed to find a way to be more positive about everything.
Well, thanks for sharing that, Claudine, and thanks for being so honest. Because I think that's probably one of the more. I know, obviously, everybody's diagnosis of chronic illness, even if it has the same name as somebody else, it's a completely different experience for one person to another. One person might be dealing with pain, one person it might be fatigue, one person it might be mobility, one other person might have all of that and some more. So it is different for everyone. But I think that the invisibility of a lot of the symptoms and then, as a human being, most people don't want anybody else worrying about them. So there's this kind of juxtaposition of, I don't want anyone to worry, or I don't want anyone to treat me differently. So I'm going to try and keep up with everything. And then there's the other side of, no, I actually want you to understand. And it's this weird fight going from side to side of, I want you to know how bad I'm feeling, but also I don't want you to worry about me. And so learning that communication of, how you actually communicate those needs and be authentic at the same time without it changing your belief about yourself. How do you think, showing up now for friendships, for relationships, for yourself, how is that different now than it was before?
I There's no tension. I'm totally relaxed about it. I let it happen. I am an observer, really. I just look at things like that. This might happen, this might not happen. Fine. And I'm okay with that. Not fighting it, I think that I'm a lot less aggressive. I have now realized what MS actually does for me, but it has also brought me how I have improved in my personal life, my all these things. And to see that and to admit that this is it, this is really happening, but it's not all bad. I approach people differently, and people have noticed. As, "Oh, you're much more quiet and much more happy," and yeah, it
How
is.
fun is that?
It's just an attitude. I changed. I
That's
changed.
beautiful, Claudine. And as you know, like one of the beginning parts in the phase one program is like that full blown self acceptance of where you are now. And that is really confronting, especially if you're not happy. And most people, they come to MS to success because they're not happy, whether it's with Parkinson's or multiple sclerosis or muscular dystrophy or whatever it might be. Um, but that can be uncomfortable because nobody wants to stay where they're at, and that's the common denominator. So that accepting where you're at and where you're not can be very, very mentally and emotionally hard to deal with. And fortunately slash unfortunately, in order to move on from where you are, that acceptance of where someone is right there and then is so, so important. So that we can then have that kind of lift off point, know where we're at, and then have the plan. Talk to me about so other people have noticed changes, which is so beautiful. I mean, that's they're like the cherry on the cake. I never get that phrase right. Whatever it is, it's really lovely to hear other people notice it. But you're the most important person. What kind of changes have you noticed? You've mentioned, the happiness and the confidence. Anything else? Any physical things you've noticed?
Well, I have realized that change physically is possible. I've regained the use of my right hand, which 2 years ago I didn't know how to write the Christmas cards. I was like, "Oh, I'm just going to say Happy Christmas or something like that and just sign and XOXO and that's it. I'm out of there." And I hope nobody notices how bad my handwriting has gotten. But I claimed that because I said, "Stop, no, I don't want to lose that. This is important." by taking a step backwards, not forcing myself, because you can't force these things. I think this is what I've learned. You cannot go, but I want to. That's not how it works. You just have to completely relax, go into a place in your mind where you approach everything in a slow pace and breathe and just go, this is going to happen. I can do this. Change is happening. It's possible. And that's what I've realized. Physically, mentally, everything comes together. But you've got to put in the time. And knowledge is key. I think I've learned so much on this program. All the information you give is exactly what I needed, and that all these things, they come together. They all are a part of that chain. They all come together. That's brilliant. And then you go, yes, this can actually work. I can make this
I-
happen. Realistically, I wouldn't go, oh, I'm gonna be dancing the chimes soon. I don't think so. But I go towards moving that leg better, or at least not losing any more of the muscle mass and things like that. And I've got the tools now. So no excuse.
Amazing, amazing. It's so beautiful to hear, Claudine. And you've mentioned like a really brilliant point, a few of them. One of them being, giving yourself that permission or, allowing yourself to slow down a little bit and then putting in the work because a lot of people we see and a lot of people in the past, before they've come here, it's like it's go, 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 it must be hard, it must go. It's like, no, it's not sustainable. Tell me because and I think probably everybody everybody is because I'm really shit at marketing. Let's be honest. I just prefer to be in. Claudine, you see all of our lovely clients. I prefer just to be in and doing the work and marketing and putting things out there. It honestly it scares me because there's a lot of people out there like this is snake oil and that's a scam and oh my god yeah, because look, when you're going out there and saying, "Oh, look, this is possible. Look what so and so's been able to do." Of course, you're going to be met with skepticism. Because people have tried a lot of things. What was your skepticism like, and what was it that stood out that made you? And I've never asked you this question before, so I don't know. So you can say the good, the bad, and the ugly, Claudine. What your experience was like.
This episode of Talk Healing to Me is sponsored by Clean Boss, created by Joy Mangano, the legendary inventor behind the Miracle Mop and a pioneer in clean innovation. Clean Boss is a botanical disinfectant that kills 99.9% of viruses, germs, and bacteria. It's safe for food surfaces, soft surfaces, and baby high chairs with no toxic ingredients and no rinse required. It's also a degreaser, odor eliminator, and all-purpose cleaner that works as hard as the chemical heavy stuff without the health risks. Check it out at getcleanboss.com/Karen for a clean, better, and living safer life.
When I first joined, it was a very personal thing. I thought, you won't see this to the end. You will. This will last a little time, and then you'll get bored, or you'll get, these people will not be able to keep your attention and to come. And then I found out you do actually. There's constantly new stuff. You are so dynamic. You bring in new stuff. You bring in new people. And the whole program is it's inspiring. She says this never stopped. It was like I've got to see maybe this and that. Maybe I can find an answer for this and that. It never really flattens. There's always peaks. And you go like, oh, I've taken this. It's also me making choices. I listen to something and go like, okay, that's good now. Or I have, listened to either one of your podcasts or call recording, and you go, right now I don't need this, but there might be maybe in 2 months or something, I go back to this. And then it's understood and useful. It's all how we are. And that demands for me that I constantly not analyze, but I'm honest with myself and say, this is what's happening. I'm fine. No, sometimes I'm not. Sometimes I get up and go like, ugh. And then you go like, what could I do? Oh, I listen to this and this meditation, or I do this, or the tools are there. That's I think is really instrumental in the change of mindset and how I feel about what's happening to me.
Yeah. Thanks for sharing that. Yeah. So it is, Claudine. I'm a sometimes I join things myself, whether it's in business or personal development, and like I'm great for the first 2 weeks, and then I'm like, no, or I just don't keep it up, and that's why this this program is designed the way it is, because I do that with things all the time. So it's like, how do we make it do it? So I'm really happy to hear that that's translated because I've never said that out loud to anyone. Do you know, as in not fully. So that's great that you experienced that. Tell me, the you've mentioned mindset and we've talked about movement and obviously we have nutrition and self-care and things like that within the program as well. What do you think has been the piece that makes this journey different from you? And it might not be anything to do with the program. It could be something outside of, life. It could be time of life or season or something else. But what is it you believe that has you get results now and not before?
My approach, first of all, the information you learn about things. My approach towards that information, wanting to try things because it might just work. So I think, yeah, the courage to change
Mm.
and wanting to change, and that is entirely up to me. It's up to all of us. We are in charge.
Yeah.
And just say, I'm trying this because I am curious. I want to know whether this is actually going to work. And then is one positive experience after the next one. And you put in the time, you listen, you try out, and the results are usually always positive.
Yeah, so cool. So cool. One of the things you mentioned before, and this I think was on our very first call together way back when, and you shared beautifully, one of the beliefs that you had is of what if I end up in a wheelchair and how that has faded. What do you think helped shift that?
Just the general, all the changes I've made.
Mhm.
I don't see myself in a wheelchair anymore. Also, shedding people who saw me in a wheelchair, leaving them behind. I was like, that's it. I don't need to be told that you have 10 years before the wheelchair and things like that. It's fine. I don't need that. Goodbye. Being blatantly honest and making changes that sometimes hurt you or hurt maybe other people as well, but they serve me. And the wheelchair, no, I'm not going to be in a wheelchair. I'm going to
Yeah,
stay there because it's fun, but
yeah,
a little travel scooter. But accepting certain tools that have been designed for us to help us, like a cane in public, or I've just been to Northern Ireland with a friend on a travel scooter, a foldable travel scooter. It's absolutely fantastic. And the reaction of the people is like, oh my God. Because, yeah, it looks funky. And I went all the way down to Giant Causeway, all the way down and then all the way up again with this little thing. And
yeah,
people were like, this is so cool. Um, yeah. And just to accept that, not, I would have probably a few years ago gone, "Ugh, yeah, but I would rather not have to do this." But now I fully admit to things are the way they are, and I have these tools, and they can help me. And if I had felt I could walk it, then I would have. But no, it was yeah. And
but
then
you know what?
is a change of it's peace of mind. It's just this big weight is lifted. I was like, you can do this, but it's just a different way you're doing it, but you still do it.
I love it. I love it. That I really hear that strength and belief in yourself because Claudine, most of the time, people maybe want that belief, but they think it's too far away or they're not going to be able to do it. And when another point that you brought up was, the people around you and their beliefs of what's possible. Because one of the biggest like things, and this is why, we have an assessment with every single person beforehand, belief and the belief that you can improve is so important because if somebody is already mentally checked out, well, then it's very hard to try and convince somebody. And I've heard that not only soar the belief in you, but the proof has really come, like with your hand, with the movement. One of the things that really stands out to me during your participation was going into London and meeting one of your fellow participants and seeing those pictures of both of you having lovely afternoon tea in a
Oh, it
really
was
beautiful dining
brilliant.
room.
It was brilliant. And the fun thing is, I saw her, I got into the place and I saw her. I'm thinking, yeah, I know her. She's a friend. It was fantastic. It was absolutely fantastic. We should do it. Yeah, we should all get together.
I know, and everybody keeps saying it to me. I'm like, okay, I've just got to organize it. Is it this side of the world, or do we do US? But anyway, maybe we'll have to just do two, perhaps.
Yeah, yep, we can do
Yeah.
too.
What role has the community inside of MS to Success changed your perception of yourself, or how has it supported you?
So starting point, I was never on Facebook. I never shared stuff. I felt, no, 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 I can't do this. And so it was quite a hurdle to overcome, to open up and talk about myself. Because I was raised not to be boastful, not to blow your own trumpet, keep it to yourself, be this, be that. And this was the first time in my life I was actually invited to think about what kind of contribution I want to make, with the gratitudes, so what am I saying here? And this is going to be heard by people. And yeah, that was a big change. That was something fantastic. And so, and then have the reaction. They go, this is actually working. We're communicating. This is not just me saying something, but there's action and interaction. And it has changed me. I feel I'm part of a friendship group, I belong to something that is fantastically healing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because there's been I don't know about you, but have certainly had the experience of when I had the diagnosis first of joining Facebook groups, and they were cesspits of fear and horror stories, and I used to come away, like, not sleeping for days after reading, and it's no one's fault, everyone's just in fear, so this is very professionally curated, so I just want to make that point. There's
Yeah.
no scare stories or anything like that in there, would you agree?
Oh, yeah, absolutely agree. I have apps and things like that as well, of other things. And you can't be on them for too long because it's just too frustrating. Because what it does is you read someone's ordeal about, oh, I have this and that, and then you go like, have I got that? Oh, I have a bit of that. And then it actually drags you down. And there's none of this here. There's absolutely none of this here. We want to, be positive, and we are positive and encouraging. It's amazing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, so good. You mentioned the importance of, feeling seen and heard and supported. Do you feel like you fulfilled that, or do you feel confident in your communication now and allowing yourself to actually have that voice?
Yes, I am. Well, I'm here with you talking to you, and everybody's gonna listen to it. So, yeah, um, definitely, definitely speaking up, having a voice.
You mentioned, having that clarity of people around you, and maybe the people who were cheering for you and maybe the people who were not. And I've also heard that confidence and that strength grow from the very beginning. And if you don't mind me saying so, there would have been a little part where you would have been like very
I know.
shy to show up, or maybe not say anything, and maybe you'd avoid eye contact in the very beginning. And there's none of that now. Like you're showing up, you're asking the questions, and you're such an incredible contribution to the community. Um, do you think there's any other benefits across any other areas of life that has trickled into?
Everything. My relationship with my children, my attitude towards friends and family, I'm much more honest as well, and I'm not afraid to voice it and say, "This isn't working for me." You know, I've said friends, can't say family, but, you can. And,
Keep the great ones.
well, yeah, yeah, yeah. And there is such a thing as separation. So yes, I did do that, but that was before joining here. So that was part of maybe a beginning that I could say, yeah, I've done something incredible that has shown me that things can be shifting and can make a change and can make a difference, and it goes towards something positive rather than negative. Yeah, that's just, I would say, just surround yourself with goodness.
Mm. That needs to be on a t-shirt, surrounding yourself with goodness. I like that.
Ooh,
Um,
yeah.
I read a study recently. I think it was on LinkedIn actually, so it wasn't assigned to. Well, it wasn't in a scientific journal or anything, but it was derived from some scientific study that said something like a man's health scores benefit when he marries a woman, and a woman's health scores decrease when she marries a man. Now, there was more to it, right? So I'm giving you like the headline,
Oh,
the
yeah.
clickbaity headline. But I was like, I know, I know.
I can write a book about that now, probably. Yeah,
But
that's true.
it is something, and I say that because I wouldn't change a thing about, my kids, and oh my goodness, I'm so lucky to have my kids out of those relationships. But also
Mm.
that self-abandonment is very sophisticated in hiding when we're in it, because you want to be and you want to help me, you want to all of that. And then it's only sometimes in retrospective that you go, what the hell was I doing? But it's hard to catch in the moment, right?
Yeah, it is hard to realize because you're in this hamster wheel and run, 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 and it's also a mindset. It's like, if I do this, I'm gonna be liked, or I'm gonna be the coolest mom in town, or
Mhm.
yeah, all these things, and you bend over backwards for what? Nobody's gonna say thank you. When I
Mm.
collapsed and was diagnosed afterwards, nobody came and said, "Oh, well, it's because you did all these things." No.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I had to hear the truth actually from the chief of medicine there when I had the diagnosis. I was, like, nowhere near close to the mindset I'm in now, but that was 15 years ago. She came to my bedside and goes, "From now on, you're only going to do what you want to do." I was like, "What's she talking about? I can't, I've kids." I said, "I mean it. Anything you don't want to do creates a tension in you, and that is poison." And she said that, and I was like, now I understand. I didn't at the time. So
Mhm.
I'd like to be you, you know, you
Yeah.
say, but it's so true.
Yeah.
It's only one of us, and there's only so much we can do.
I know. It's a lesson I would wish to instill in school-going kids. And look, it's important for me to say, just to go back a step, there are some incredible marriages out there. I mean, I have some friends and they're in really healthy, loving, reciprocitous relationships. But also the thing that I see, and this is where I have responsibility and accountability, I was not good at even stopping to look at what my needs were. So of course I didn't voice them because I didn't know I had them, because I was too busy trying to be liked or to be approved. And I'm not saying that that's what you did, but like I have to myself go, okay, I was responsible for that. And I like I fed that, And it's so interesting. And again, I look back at my younger self and go, oh, darling, darling, please take a moment and stop. But it's, again, hindsight is 2020. So I really do see that in these programs, no matter relationship status, it is a reclamation of joy and health. And in our promise, if I could find where things are, boxes are over the other side of the room, to live more and worry less and feel great. Would you say that you've hit that?
100%. Yes. Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. And
Yeah.
and I now dare say things. Also with my children. It was a bit of a surprise for them. But yeah, in the end, that's what works for me. And being honest, yeah, reflect on my needs. I was never invited to do that.
Mm.
Say a part of it was me not saying what I needed, and part of it was I it never occurred to me because I was raised in a certain way, and then you go from that into a marriage and you just continue.
That self-abandonment, and it's not, I wouldn't even, it sounds like a very, dramatic word to use, but it is that a lot of the time when you're in it, but you don't realize you're in it because it's just what you're doing. Like, I see younger versions of myself everywhere, and it's usually, people who have just had kids or just gotten married, whatever, and the excitement of that is great, and so there's no point in having regrets because we can't change the past, but it's just looking and having that younger version of ourselves nurtured, and then bringing those lessons into now so that, that isn't, we don't step over ourselves or our boundaries or priorities or our needs. Thank you for that really beautiful and honest conversation, Claudine, because I'm sure there's somebody listening to this now, whether they're doing that now, whatever. And it's hard. Look, it's really hard to do in a relationship. And this is why we have the friends and family and loved one support call, as well as, having our mindset calls and, where we talk about communication and managing stress. Because when we've been in relationships, whether that's family, friends, kids, whatever it might be, we have built this kind of pattern, that it's just automatic. It's an invisible autopilot that's there. And so then when something changes, or when you start bringing in that self development, or, health development, and things start to change, it is having that communication and those few sentences to be able to bridge that gap of what it is that you want. One of the famous phrases that we use, what I want to say is this, but what I'm going to say is this. Or, if I say yes to this, I'm saying no to that for myself, or that doesn't work for me, are some of my favorite ones. But it's uncomfortable, and it can be uncomfortable for the person, and it can also be uncomfortable for the person hearing it as well, because it's like, what's going on? I don't know if Sharon Horgan was in program before. I'm pretty sure she wrote it. I can't remember the name of it. But her husband was going off and doing some personal development, and she got really jealous and like was really uncomfortable with it. But I can see how that might be in a relationship if somebody is going off and developing and changing, and it's like, oh hey, you're leaving me behind, or this is a new way of doing things. It can be, it can bring up things in relationships, friendships, whatever it might be. So having that communication to give yourself permission to do it, but also to teach other people, this is what works for me now, and I'd love you to come along on the ride, is a beautiful type of growth, uncomfortable as it may be sometimes, and it sounds like you've done that beautifully. Um, you've joined phase 2, Claudine, which I'm so happy that you did. Yay!
Yeah.
What was it that had you decide to keep going and stay with us?
Oh, because I wasn't done. I was like, I needed more. I needed more in my personal development. I needed more. I just wanted to, yeah, keep going.
Mm.
It wasn't anchored enough yet, I think. And this is now crystallized, and it's now a way of life. I get up in the morning and I have, yeah, my ritual. And I stick to it as much as I can. Of course, there's days where you can't because other things happen, but then you still manage to put all these things into the day, later in the day, or yeah. Sometimes also being honest and say, nope, I'm not joining that call now because I'm tired. And this is something I do for myself now. Yesterday evening, I was like, I need a break now. And yeah, to admit to that as well. Just be blatantly honest with yourself.
Beautiful. I love that. That is the mastery program in motion, what you just said there, Claudine. I love it. How does it feel now looking ahead, compared to how you felt when you started?
Oh, it's fantastic. It's like I'm not scared. I've just become a grandma. And I always had this idea, yeah, I know, of what kind of a grandma I was going to be. But obviously, MS has changed that. But a few months ago or before this program, I would have gone, oh my God, this is because everything has two sides. So I'm a grandma with MS now. And now I embraced it and I was like, yep, this is the way it is. He can probably race around with me on the scooter. Whatever, we can have fun. I can still do a lot of things. Whereas before I would go, oh, I can't even hold him properly, or I don't have the strength, or whatever. So the panic is gone. There is a positive outlook on everything, basically. I'm not getting upset. And I'm a lot friendlier. I'm not the aggressive bee that I used to be. Go like, yeah, no, I'm like I've had roadworks outside my gate for the whole week, and it's gonna go on for another 2 weeks. And I was just friendly with the guys, and then all of a sudden, you get everything. They finished my side of the road today because I was nice. So that is, I changed that much. My whole approach is different in the way of reasoning. So
I think that's because you're no longer stressed. You're no longer and that fear of your future and your health is gone because you're in control of it now. You know what works and you know what doesn't. So a lot of and that makes me a little bit sad when I hear you talking about yourself like that, in the past. It's not that you were being a bee. It's that your nervous system was completely dysregulated. Is that the word? Dysregulated. So when your central nervous system is like that and you're in that fight or flight response constantly, everything that when you squeeze an orange, orange comes out. When you squeeze a person, that stuff is going to come out. But that's no longer there because you're doing the work. You know what does and doesn't work for your body. So that isn't there anymore. So when you get squeezed, smiles come out now.
yes, exactly. Positivity. Brilliant.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, it's great. I will forever be grateful having found this program. It's
We're so
brilliant.
grateful that you
Yeah.
joined and you're doing the work, Claudine, which is phenomenal. Congratulations on becoming a grandmother.
Thank you.
You're too young and hot to be a grandmother, Claudine.
Yeah. Sure. Ah, no, it was about time. My son's 40, no, 34, 34. So yeah, I was like, when am I going to be a grandma? Now. So it's
Oh,
nice. Yeah.
isn't that well? Congratulations, congratulations. Are you ready for our quick fire round?
Don't know. Let's see.
We've got 10 short questions. There's only one tricky one in there. I let you know about that one tricky one, not the other one. So,
Yeah.
first one is if you followed your childhood dream, what would you be doing now?
Hold your horses. I would be a clown. Wanted to go to clown school.
Would you? Oh,
Yes.
that's so
I
lovely.
wanted to do, there is a clown school in the Italian part of Switzerland, and I wanted to do that clown school. And
Oh,
my dad wouldn't let me.
you
But he
should do
said, you're
that.
funny enough, you don't need to be more funny. It was
Oh, bless.
something real. So I didn't get to go to clown school, but I loved, yeah, the whole thing. Yeah.
Have
Making
you ever
people
watched
laugh.
Modern Family?
Yes, I have watched Modern Family. Yes.
What's Bisbo? Is it Bisbo the clown?
Yes. Oh my God. Yes.
Bisbo. You can still do it, Claudine.
No,
You
no,
can
no.
still do it.
It's okay. No, I just, in general, making people laugh is something that is important to me, or was important to me, when I was younger. It's a skill, a gift.
Yeah.
That's what I
We
would do, you know.
see you doing that within the program. You bring up.
Yes.
Thank you. The second question is what advice would you give to your younger self?
I would tell myself to slow down, and it's going to be okay, that I don't need to fight for attention or being loved. It just will happen just like that. That
Yeah.
I'm awesome enough, I am enough, and to believe in myself. But that was always, I always, yeah, doubted myself.
Mm,
Tell myself to stop that.
yeah, not anymore. We can go back and have that younger version of yourself taken care of. Thank
Yeah,
you for sharing that.
yeah.
And the third one, who inspires you the most?
Who inspires me the most? Loads of people who inspire me, but one of the forces in my life was my mom's mom, my grandma.
Oh,
Yeah, she was a force of nature. She was amazing. Spoke and wrote 4 languages, traveled excessively in between the 2 world wars.
wow.
Studied
What was
at
her name?
Tilly, Cecilia, but we called her Tilly.
Oh,
Um, yeah, she had a remarkable life with, adversity as well, but she always rose to the challenge and showed me how it's done, and she was also creative and just strong and
yeah.
fun. Just,
Oh, she sounds like a great grandmother to have.
she was fantastic. Yeah.
Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. The next one, this is the tricky one. Was there a particularly dark day that turned into a positive, and what was the lesson?
So dark day was for me, it was a personal failure was when I signed my separation papers. I thought, this is it now. You know, you build all this up and now poof, it's all on the floor, it's collapsed. And then I organized an international move, took my stuff from Zurich to the UK and found all my friends. Everybody was there that I had left a few years before. Well, 10 years before actually. And everything sort of fell into place. And that was fantastic. It was, yeah, it turned out to be the best thing I've done for myself. Because if I think about where I would be if I had not done all these things, not separated, yeah, this program would have resonated with me completely differently.
Oh, well done. Look, those things, and I think that's the beautiful thing when you can be in the middle of something that feels really difficult and have that hope and have that, drive that it is going to turn out good. Like the biggest phrase that I use all the time is it's happening for me, not to me. And
Yeah.
when shit's hitting the fan and you're saying that to yourself and you're like, am I completely delulu? But you can always connect the dots going backwards and go, okay, now I see why, what was happening or why that was happening. So that's brilliant.
Yeah.
Brilliant, brilliant.
Yeah,
Yeah.
one thing leads to another and the next, and it's all like, yeah.
Yeah. And you were able to go and meet Annetta in London. Very cool.
Yes. Yeah, probably in August. So yeah, when I'm back or in September. So yeah, it's gonna be a constant. We're gonna send you pics.
Yeah, I know. I'll be
You can
very
come.
jealous. Total
It's not
FOMO.
far away.
I'll have to come visit for the next one.
Yeah.
The fifth one was, what does your ideal day consist of?
My ideal day
Yeah.
has a bit of everything, has getting up by myself, so waking up by myself without an alarm clock. That I'm pretty calibrated now. And then doing my ritual of meditation, of movement, of my brew in the morning is either bone broth or lemon, ginger, cinnamon, and hot water with a bit of honey. And then I sit there and then look out into the garden or whatever and reflect on what's next. And then there's a bit of activities and things to do, then entwined with relaxation and rest in between. So a bit of everything. Also stuff that I create, for instance. I like a bit of creation or reading or yeah, creative stuff. So it's like it's a habit stacking, but it's a nice habit stacking. It's not something that's forced.
I love that.
Even and then it helps when you have to do something, you have to get out of the house and go to that appointment or things like that. You just do it because you know that afterwards you know there's other things coming.
I love that lifestyle, that all of those baseline things are in there for you so that you are freed up, like you say, to do whatever you want without having to go, oh, I can't do this. That's beautiful. That sounds really relaxed, really chill, Claudine.
But it took this program, it took a lot of it took the knowledge as well to get there and to then stick with it, you know. It's like this actually works. This is nice.
Yeah.
And to be also saying no to things. I don't want to do this because that's not, you know, I haven't got time or it's not what I want to do. That as well. I don't force myself to do things that I don't want to do, which is the advice I had from this chief of medicine years ago. Don't do what you don't want to do. And this is probably what she meant. So I finally got it. I should probably,
Amazing. We love her.
yeah, I should probably tell her. Then and I said, ah, I get it now. This is what she meant.
Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. That sounds like a lovely day. The sixth question is, if you had a roast dinner, so say it's your Christmas dinner of sort, would you eat your favorite thing first, your favorite thing last, or a little bit of everything together?
I eat a little bit of everything, but I don't usually put everything on one fork. So it's one thing at a time. I eat with my eyes, so what looks good comes first. So, "Ooh, this looks great. Let's see how it tastes." Probably comes from my granddad on my mom's side's way of preparing breakfast for us in the morning. He would slice dark bread very thinly, butter it, put honey on it, or my grandma's homemade jam, and cut it in little pieces or bite sizes. So we had a little plate, and we took all the nice pieces. And my uncle had cerebral palsy. This is probably why my granddad did it, so it was easier for him, also for us, and we didn't make a mess. So I remember my uncle looking at me once, and I chose all these little bits and pieces to put on my plate, and they were all nice. They were all perfect little slices.
Yeah.
And he looked at me and he chewed, and we weren't allowed to talk with your mouth open, but he just did it anyway. He went, you know, they all taste the same. I was like, "Pfft, no, they don't." And that was it. Yeah. So I am eating with my eyes, I guess. Yeah, very much. Very.
Athletic eating. Oh, nice. I've
Yeah.
never had that answer before, Claudine. I love it. Very good. Very good. I like that answer. Thank you. I'm going to think about that as I'm eating next time.
Yeah, analyze it.
Yeah, I love it. The seventh question is, if you had three people to choose for dinner to join you, whether they're past or alive, who would they be?
So my grandma, Tilly, for sure. And then on my dad's side, my grandpa. His dad was a watchmaker, and he taught me a lot about TikToks and rhythms and pace, and that we're all every watch is different, but we're all the same and things like that. So I would like the opportunity to tell him I get it. I finally realized it. And my favorite uncle, who passed away much too early at the age of 53 of cancer, and he was a goldsmith. Two other very creative people. Those are the three people I would love to have around the table that are family, and then I could also have another table with more crazy people like Leonardo da Vinci and I don't know, Frida Kahlo and maybe Dorothy Parker or something like that. that would be a completely different ball game. But what I would hang on to is nobody talks about either religion or politics. That's
Same rule in MS to success.
yeah. So, and I have that at Christmas. This is a rule in my house.
Yeah.
So yeah, it works.
That sounds like a lovely dinner. That sounds like
Yeah.
a lovely dinner. Yeah, thank you. The eighth one, what is your favorite song?
My favorite song.
Yeah.
I don't have one favorite song. There are too many good ones.
Yeah. With the one that you'd listen to the
And
most at the
the
moment.
good song I told my kids they can play at my funeral
Oh,
is "Free Bird" by Lynyrd Skynyrd. That's it. Other than that, I mean, there is a list of songs that I absolutely love, mostly rock-based, soft rock-based, songs. Yeah.
we're gonna have to play that other song now on our song of the day, Claudine.
Oh
You're
my God.
right if we do that. Like,
Yeah.
where am I?
Yes.
I wanted to do this.
No, yeah, that's, but other than that, no, I don't have one favorite song. I
Yeah,
listen
I
to
hear you. Okay, very cool. Our eighth question, what's your favorite? Oh, no, it's the ninth. The book that you gift the most.
I don't have one that I gift the most. I lend one that's an easy summer read, which is called Angry Housewives Eating Bonbons.
Oh,
This is
I've never
um,
heard of that.
oh gosh, who's it by? I forget now. It's just it's an American author, and it's just these
Oh, I
friends
see.
neighborhood, and
Lorna Landvik.
yes, Lorna Landvik, exactly. So that's yeah, it's a
Okay.
brilliant summer read. I like, and
It
it's
says this stalwart group of friends depicts a special slice of American life of stay-at-home days, new careers, children and grandchildren of bold, and then it goes on to think that sounds
yeah,
cool.
yeah, it's fun. It's
Okay,
fun.
great.
Nothing heavy. So yeah,
Amazing, amazing.
I'm not gonna send you Jane Austen.
Ah, I do love Jane Austen.
I know, but
It's kind of
everybody read it. So
I
yeah,
have like a list of books that I still need to read, but anyway, that's another day. I'm not going to stress myself out with that. Tell me, last question, how do you switch off?
I don't have to now because I have such nice quiet days. I switch off by taking time out. I just need to go to a different place, a quiet place, and to either a little meditation or just a little stretching exercises and things like that. And then I come back to whatever it is I'm doing, and then yeah.
Beautiful, beautiful. Claudine, thank you so much for sharing your heart and your humor and your hard-won wisdom today. Yeah, your story really is such a powerful reminder that healing isn't about the physical process necessarily. It's about reclaiming your voice and your rhythm and your right to feel good again. And to everyone listening, if you've been carrying fear or if you've been wondering whether change is possible for you, let Claudine be your proof that it is. And with the right support and the right plan and a community that sees you and celebrates you, you can absolutely rewrite your story. So if you're curious about how to take your own first step, head over to mstosuccess.com where you can learn more about our work. And before you go, we'd love if you'd leave a review or share this episode with someone who needs it, or come find us on Instagram. We've got real stories, more breakthroughs, and more healing to come. Thanks for being here. And until next time, keep talking healing to yourself. Thank you to our sponsors of this episode. You can visit getcleanboss.com/Karen. And also a thank you to our video and podcast producer and editor, Aoife McNamara at Imagine Media. Thank you.